Welcome to Raising Scholars, an educational podcast brought to you by the Lake Havasu Unified School District in partnership with Shawn, Lawless, and 32 Bravo Media. This is a podcast designed for families to hear all about the mission and vision of learning which is being carried out at LHUSD for the academic and social-emotional growth of students in our district. It is also a place to share tips, tools, advice, and reflections on how our schools, families, and community can help our students learn to make the most of their potential in their K-12 learning experience. We are so excited to be bringing you conversations on a variety of topics from educators, parents, administrators, alumni, and even students across our district. Our goal for you each time is to leave with a little bit more knowledge on how to help your students be successful. So let's dive on in together. Roger Berger currently serves as the principal of HavasuOnline. He has been an administrator for the Lake Havasu Unified School District for the past 20 years and has served in our district for almost 35 years total. He has served as a teacher, administrator, athletic director, coach, and an advocate for our special needs students in our community and our district. We are so grateful to have him here today to share a bit more about how our online platform can serve our students' needs. Roger, I'm so excited to have you here today. How are you?
Good. It's a busy Monday today. It was crazy busy today.
I bet.
Usually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are crazy with online because I'm real busy calling students up and parents and things like that. Then Thursday and Friday kind of slows down because I did all that Monday, Tuesday.
Well, I'm glad I caught you on a day where we could give you some
real
time.
busy. More time.
Absolutely. So today's topic we're really going to be sharing with parents today, and today's topic is really going to be how HavasuOnline can actually serve our students, because you're knee-deep in supporting kids right now in HavasuOnline.
Yes.
And I really just wanted to give you an opportunity to share more with parents. I don't think it's a platform that we've shared enough about yet.
Right.
And I'm just really excited for you to share a little bit more with them.
Okay.
So the first question is really just going to be about you. For the
Okay.
parents who don't know you personally yet, which that's probably very few at this point, I want you to be able to share a little bit about your background and how that led you into administration with HavasuOnline platform.
All right. Well, I've been with the district for 35 years.
Yeah.
This
We're very lucky, by the way, for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is my 35th year with the district.
Okay.
Because I student taught at this time out of NAU.
Right.
And I got the position from, I worked at a camp in the summer for the disabled. It was called Camp Toddy up in Shola Pine Top.
Oh, cool.
And the camp director was Kevin Quill. I don't know if you remember
I
Kevin
do
Quill.
remember. Yeah,
Yes.
Mr. Quill, yeah.
So he brought me out here. I student taught with Margie Snyder.
Oh my
And
gosh.
with Dr. Jack Cruz was the principal there.
Yeah.
And then I taught with Jim Bogner at the high school in special education. So I was a
Right.
dual major at NAU. And,
Okay.
and then from that point on, I was hired as first year was a first grade teacher.
I heard that, and I was very excited
Yeah,
to hear that.
it
That
was
had
pretty
been
funny.
a fun year.
Yes, it was fun. It was. I still keep in touch with those first graders. It's a lot of fun, and that helped me
warms my
out
heart.
because when I got to Nautilus Elementary School, I just remembered a lot of that fun stuff. And
Right.
So then when I was over at Nautilus, it was back at the elementary
Absolutely. So
level.
how many years total did you spend at the high school?
Oh boy! So I was at first grade for 1 year, and then I was high school as a student developmental center teacher, and then I started the student transition center,
Okay.
which is currently going on now.
Right.
And that developed into we were actually a model program out in the community.
Right. I do remember that.
Yeah, we had a place downtown, and we had our students that were 18 to 22 that had from mild to severe disabilities,
Sure.
actually in the community and living and working right in the
Right.
horizons.
Right.
So that was good. So I was with the high school for most of the years.
Quite a few. Yeah. Quite a
And
few
then-
years. That's where I met you. So.
Right,
Yeah.
and then halfway through that, then I was offered the position, got my administration in educational leadership, and then
Yeah.
I was offered a position as the assistant principal and athletic director. Actually, athletic director first, and I took over the round table. You remember the round
I
table?
do remember. Yeah, with Mary Jo.
Right,
Yeah.
so I had the round table for 2 years, and from there, then I went into the assistant principal position, athletic director, and I was there for a number of years.
Right.
probably.
Absolutely. And then you moved back into elementary.
Then I had the opportunity to move over to Nautilus
Yes.
Elementary School, which was really good. Met a lot of great students and parents, and the staff was amazing over there. So I still
Absolutely.
talk to them quite a bit. And then I don't know. Elementary is a lot of work. I mean,
Sure.
you know, as a
I
principal,
do.
it's
Absolutely.
a lot of work. And so, as my energy slowed down as I grown a little bit older, they decided to put me to online.
It was a
HavasuOnline.
perfect opportunity for you to transition into
transition,
something that
right.
needed you.
Which was interesting because I can't even turn on my TV at home with a remote control. So let's make you be the online person. It's like, what?
Well,
Okay.
so
So
it's never too late to learn,
It's
right,
never
Roger?
too late to learn,
Yeah.
yes. And so I learned a little bit about that. And luckily I have amazing staff that
Absolutely.
have helped me grow.
Can you, for those who don't know, who are your staff that work in your
So,
department at this time?
We have six staff members
Okay.
that run the whole program. We have over 200 kids in our program right
Right.
now, to about 215.
Okay,
And
that's so
matter of
great.
fact, we had 4 come in today and about 10 last week, so they're still coming over.
Okay.
And we're serving the middle school as well as the high school students. But I have six staff members, counting myself, I guess.
Okay. How many teachers total?
Well, 3 teachers.
Okay.
I have Amy Koch, who is the guru of the whole program.
Mm-hmm.
Nicole Gray, who just started up because we started to grow so much that we
Absolutely.
needed
That's
to break
so great.
off there. And then Chessa Fry, she's my other instructor. So all these people have,
Amazing instructors, by the way.
they are
Amazing
really good.
teachers. Yeah.
and they're really they're really a support for our students because the students teach themselves in our program. It's an asynchronistic program
Right.
in which the students are actually teaching themselves, and they reach out to my staff for extra support.
Okay.
So
So that's a perfect segue actually into my second question. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you what the full question is. As the administrator of HavasuOnline, can you share some of the ways that you and your staff actually support the students that are learning online?
So students with online program, it's really a choice that they're making. They have to be self-motivated quite
Sure.
a bit to be able to be online. And then there's a variety of reasons why students go online, but our staff supports them by always being available, well, for the most part during office hours.
Okay. And how do they reach them? Do they reach them via email, phone? I don't know what that looks
It's
like.
actually a variety. There's like
Okay.
6 different ways. And so
Okay.
before you are actually on an online program, you set through an orientation with me
Oh, that's
or one of my
fantastic.
staff members, my secretary, Miss Brennan. Actually, it's administrative assistant.
Yeah.
Miss Brennan, she works with me as well. And so we go through an orientation which we show you the program, how to navigate through the program, as well as how to contact it. You can actually use our platform to contact teachers daily.
Oh, great.
There is a help request form that you're able to fill out
Okay.
to ask for some assistance, and within 24 hours our teachers will get a hold of you.
Okay.
And then you also have in the platform itself, which is called PLP,
Yeah.
it stands for Personal Learning Platform,
Okay.
our program. They actually are able to send a message just like in a chat
Okay.
to my teachers.
Sure.
And
So
then
it's like it's almost
immediate.
immediate,
Yeah,
if
it's
not,
almost immediate.
unless they're helping someone else, I assume. but-
Correct. And so we do have office hours set up for
Okay.
our staff members, and then our students are able to do Zoom
Okay.
in with them, set up an appointment, do a Zoom in, maybe a phone call, or actually they can even come in to
Okay.
get some extra assistance. But the parents become the learning coach at home.
Oh, yeah.
So your parents, it's really the student learning on
Absolutely.
themselves, and they go to the parent to ask about a problem that they're having. And if between the parent and the student they can't quite figure it out, that's when they reach out to my staff.
So would it be fair to say that if your student is thinking about going to online learning, as a parent, you probably need to be ready to be like able to at least be there to help them find answers to their questions?
Yeah, that would help out. And
Yeah.
of course, we're not asking you to know the all
No.
and everything, but at the same time,
Absolutely.
they can research it out. But my staff is available for that assistance.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest support that parents can give students is being active,
Yeah.
making sure their students are logging in,
Sure.
putting in their
Just
time
paying
and putting
attention.
their hours. The platform actually has a part to it where parents can get in and actually see not only all the messages, their
Oh.
grades, how much time they spent in the program to the very second.
Oh, that's
So
great.
that's really hands-on for a parent to be as active as they want to be.
Okay.
And at the same time, some parents aren't.
So with that orientation, those are all things that you talk
Right.
about during. That's so
Exactly.
great because I think one of the hesitating moments that parents typically have is like, if you have a student that's thinking about learning online, whatever the reason is, well, what does that look like? What kind of support am I going to be able to give them?
So
What kind of access do they have to their teachers?
when you want to find that kind of information out, you don't have to really decide I'm going into online. You can be undecided.
Sure.
And we can set through that whole, I'll spend a lot of time with you, set through the whole program, and we can actually go through the whole orientation, and then you decide not to do it, that's fine with me.
Sure.
Yeah,
That's
so-
good. That's really great because then that allows the family and the student to be able to
Right.
have that discussion and decide if it's really for them.
Right, and,
Yeah.
and we're serving middle school and high school students,
Okay.
so it's really nice to have the student there.
Yeah.
My staff always also sets up their schedule so we can actually go into the program, show them how
Okay.
to navigate through the program with their classes right there in front of them.
That's really great.
And it's not, like I said, it's not that hard to be able to do that and then
Okay.
also get them going.
That's awesome. Okay, so what have you found to be the most beneficial aspect of online learning for our K-12 students so far?
You don't have to worry about dress code.
Oh, that is a fair point.
Or preferential seating. You can sit wherever you want to sit.
That's absolutely true.
I think some of our most unique situations with our kids is like they're in their profession.
Sure.
We have professional racers that are jet skiers,
Oh, sure.
and we have a student that's in rodeo and travels all around doing rodeo. So you
Okay.
can take, as long as you live in the state of Arizona, that's the key. Anywhere in the state of Arizona, you have to reside there.
Okay.
You can be a part of our school. The other real advantage of being with an online program, with all the other online programs that are out there, even though it's asynchronistic and not a synchronized program, which means that you're sitting in a classroom with a teacher
Sure.
with a Zoom message,
Right.
which is good for some students, is the fact that you can be a part of the middle school activities and high school activities.
Sure.
For example, you can play sports.
Okay.
You can
That's
be
great.
a part of any club. It's an easy transition to and from the high school to our platform, our school.
Okay.
Even though we're two separate schools, we work real closely together.
That's really great.
It's a transfer versus a full registration.
Okay.
And then
So they don't have to go through that registration process
not
separately.
if
Okay.
they're with the district.
Okay.
And so just a nice.
Just if they're outside of the
if they're
district.
outside the district, then
Okay.
you'd have
Sure.
to. Or if they're with one of the others, outside the district with one of the other schools in town.
Okay.
But it just makes it a nice, convenient way to access what our in-person schools have to offer. That is after school hours.
So those are really some good examples. And thinking about all the individual needs of our kids, right? Like there's different reasons why people pursue online
Yeah.
learning. So the next question I was thinking about was, we know that every learner has different learning styles and educational needs. So how does Havasu Online platform kind of help address those particular things?
Well, it's really based on whatever they need to have done. For example, we have a lot of students that are working and are sometimes supporting their families, so they're able to work in the middle of the night.
Okay.
There's no time frame. You're able to work school around your daily work schedule, or like I said, we have many students that are in some extreme sports,
Sure.
which makes it nice that you're independent. You're independent from everything. You become your own teacher. So it's a very flexible schedule. It's very independent.
Okay.
That can be a plus and it can be a negative, of
Sure.
course. This summer, I decided I was going to be a student. I wanted to see what it's like to be a student. So
Oh,
I
good.
took a sign language class. I figured we have a deaf session coming up in which I need to learn sign language.
Okay.
So I took a sign language class and I was really into the program. I was loving it. I was enjoying it. I really got into it. Before I looked up at the clock, it was like, you're supposed to spend an hour. I spent like 2.5 hours just reading the history of the deaf
Oh, that's
populations and
great.
things like that. So it was
Sure.
really fun. And so then all of a sudden, 2 or 3 days later, I still was into it and I was really liking it. And then something came up, and then
Oh,
something else came up, and then
sure.
something, and I ended up failing the course.
Oh.
Yes, and the reason why is because I wanted to be a good student. I had all the intentions. I loved the curriculum. I just let life's daily activities kind of start bleeding
So
in
you
a
have
little
to be
bit.
able to manage your
You
time.
have to manage your time.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these employers, a lot of my students are working, and so a lot of these employers are like, hey, we're going to get you started, and they're working out there, and all of a sudden they get more hours, and they're getting more stuff, and they're all of a sudden being able to buy those real cool rims for the car.
Sure.
Pretty soon school starts taking a
Yeah.
back seat.
Yep.
And so we talk about that in orientation, saying you really need to focus on keeping a schedule going,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how another way that parents can definitely be involved. Get a schedule going, make sure they're staying on track with that. But it's just really unique to their needs, whatever they need
Yeah.
done.
I
mean,
think that lends to life skill though, right? You're really teaching them life skills.
Yeah, responsibility and life skills.
Yeah.
In-person teaching has a lot to offer, but nowadays with online instruction, even at the next level,
Yeah.
kids have to be used to being able to do online.
Well, and some people just need that option. Thinking about the back end of that question, if you had a student with a 504 or an IEP,
Mm-hmm.
would my assumption is that you would take a look at what that looked like with the parent and decide with the parent whether or not that was really a valuable option or not.
Right.
Is
so
that accurate?
IEP and 504s are really kind of a team decision,
Right.
of course, with the parent involved and
Right.
and what the student's needs are. it's an independent program where the students are teaching themselves. And so
is that
if their son or
applicable
daughter
or
would,
not?
if their son or daughter would have difficulty, do they have the supports in the house that would be able to
Sure.
do that? Because many of them maybe have a grandparent or something that is close by or can provide that kind of support.
Sure.
But if there are reasonable 504s are usually just accommodations that you need to have in place.
And if those are possible, then it's
So
okay.
yeah, and then we have several students that are on IEPs that are 504s, and
Okay.
their accommodations are being met.
That's
and
great.
then some haven't been successful as much, and so then we meet again and figure out how we can help that individual out. And so
So as you mentioned, it really is individual.
yes,
Yeah.
it is. It's
Okay.
individual.
So can you give me some examples of some of the courses that are available online? to
This
some
is
of
where
the
I'm
kids?
going to do a little cheating.
That's okay, take it.
Because
Absolutely, you guys have a lot to
we
choose
do,
from.
and this is another thing we say in our orientations. We don't want you to popcorn back and forth, and the reason why is because our electives are way different than the school or what the high school has
district, yeah.
offered. So some of our electives that are different and more unique to the online program is kind of nice, like sign language. I don't
Yeah.
think the high school.
I didn't get
offers
to take that till college, so
Yeah,
that's true.
So that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Here's a good one. Internet safety. That's their homeroom
Which is
class.
probably
That-
should probably be a requirement.
That
I would
is
think.
that is their
Yeah.
required. That's their homeroom class, and we do a lot of announcements.
Okay.
But yeah, they all have to
That's
take the internet
great.
safety.
Okay.
Invest in careers 1 and 2, logic 1 and 2. We have one that's cosmetology.
Well, and that's really
Yeah.
applicable to a lot of our older students who are getting closer to high school graduation.
And
so
their
that's
finals to try to make my mug look better, so it's a really tough final.
great. Okay.
And then we have counseling and mental health, sports, entertainment, marketing,
that's
are
great.
just some of the different.
Those are great options.
So our website's HavasuOnline, everything lowercase.
Okay.
And if you will go to our handbook, you can actually go through and see all the different courses that are being offered.
Okay, so they can
including-
actually see that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
They
just,
get kind of a preview.
just Google search HavasuOnline, everything lowercase, and pick the USD #1, and you'll be able to go right to our website.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
Okay, so just a couple more before we wrap up.
Okay.
If a parent was thinking about signing their student for online learning, I was hoping for like 5 tips, but you've sort of mentioned about 3 of them. What advice would you give her on how to consider whether it might be a good fit? You mentioned good time management. What else?
Yeah, I really suggest that a parent know their student, and they all do.
Okay.
They can come in and after my orientation, they say, well, I don't know if this is going to work. We want what's best for the student.
Sure.
We'd love to keep them in our district, but if a synchronized program is better for them, where they actually have a teacher says, okay, we're going to Zoom in, and you're in there in a Zoom, then that's what you should do.
Okay.
But we do suggest that you really do some research of the programs. The reason why I think our online program is most beneficial to our students, we've already talked about a little bit, and that's because of what we have to offer as far as with in-person. But we do have a good program. It's starting to be a great program.
Absolutely.
People are recognizing it, and it's kind of fun to see that. But we say, parents need to be active and just be engaged in
So
what they're
time
doing.
management, good,
Right.
active parents.
And then really be a part of that orientation, ask
Okay.
questions in that orientation.
Okay, that's great.
And then
example.
I'm always available, or my staff is always available
Okay.
as well. Ms. Kami Kelly's our counselor, and we even have a counselor.
She's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and she actually
does
puts
a
some
lot.
time in, and even if they're having some social, she'll get a hold of my counselor and she'll talk
Okay.
way through it, and so yeah, we just.
Would you say that good communication is probably the most key?
You have to be able to communicate. We can't tell. I mean, my staff is really good. They want you to be successful. So they're going to let me know who's not online this week,
Sure.
who's not been putting a lot of time in. So today I got a list of about 40 kids that I'm going to be talking with
That's
to say,
good.
hey, what's going on, or how you
Okay.
doing, how can we support you? But there are some that I'm checking in on
Just
every
to
week
check
just to
in.
check in
Yeah.
and see what they're doing. The chat is really fun. And so we even have made some visits to the home with my staff just to kind of chat with them there about the program. So we still want to make it personal. We still do Student of the Week.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and so we're able to
That's great.
celebrate them. So it's been
Well, so that leads me literally to our final question about
All
the
right.
topic.
Final
before I
question.
get to have some fun with you.
okay. Uh-oh.
Okay, so if well, 2 things. There's a connection question. You mentioned prior that students get to be able to access the same types of activities. You had mentioned sports. They can go through anything that the high school goes through, or are there any limitations?
As long as there's not tied to a grade of any kind. For example, we have grad night that
Okay.
they can be a part of as a senior. If you are a senior and you're entering the program, you actually take all of our online classes and you do all the stuff. You graduate. You basically take our finals, and then what I will do is we'll withdraw you from HavasuOnline. We enroll you at Lake Havasu High School, so you actually walk with your peers and get a diploma from Lake Havasu High
So you
School.
can graduate from Lake
So
Havasu
you
High
actually,
School, not
you
Havasu
will.
Online.
Yeah, we won't.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not that separate. We're still
Okay.
connected a little bit that way. So I'm
But
not
so
sure.
extracurriculars, clubs, things like
Clubs,
that.
any kind of clubs, any kind of activities. We actually encourage you to do that because we
Great.
want you to keep that social
Absolutely.
part going.
Okay.
And so it's really up to you to do that.
And dances, all that stuff.
Absolutely,
Okay.
100%. As long as you're in good standing. Now, we do have some students that maybe aren't in good standing for whatever reasons. They made some poor choices. We are able to give them an education.
But that's the same at the high school, right? Like if your grades are low, sometimes you can't attend. Is
But
that true?
This also could be like a hearing contract
okay.
where they've gotten into some trouble.
Okay.
So we're able to give those students still an education
Yeah.
with our platform until
Which is
they're able
great.
to learn from the mistakes they made and be able to get back on campus.
Absolutely. Well, and the final question really was any other requests or tips for parents at home that are supporting kids who might need online learning?
Just
covered most of it?
Yeah, just listen to your kids and see if they're struggling. There's lots of struggles that they're having. You know, I guess it's just knowing your son or daughter and if it's really going to be truthfully something they can handle and do. Because I just don't want to see them fail. And then are they going to stick with it? And some of my best students are the ones that are saying, like to their employer, hey, I can't work these extra hours because I have school. Those are my
They're
best students.
prioritizing.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So the parents need to help them prioritize and keep school as on the forefront because life can get in its way.
Well, and really that's what the SAGE is for, right? K-12 education
Right.
is to prioritize education so
Right.
that they can be successful after high school. So
And with our district, we want to be able to serve all kinds of kids in all
Absolutely.
kinds of situations. So that's why we've decided to go with online program.
well, and that's why I wanted you here. So thank you so much for sharing some of that with our parents because I
Yes.
just feel like this is kind of a topic that we haven't had a chance to share out much
Yes.
about.
And we've been pretty quiet out there, and we're still. I got 220, so words getting out. It's like don't get too much. I have to get an assistant principal or something.
Well, so for those people who don't have the privilege of knowing you quite as well as I do at this
Yes.
point,
All
I
right.
want them to get a chance to get to know you a little bit
All
better.
right,
So we're
this
going to do
is-
something called rapid fire.
Oh no.
Are you ready?
I guess.
Okay. So what was your favorite thing about where you grew up or went to high school?
High school was kind of tough on me. I was last name Berger. You can imagine why.
Okay.
That's why I've never definitely don't like bullying.
Well, so
But
what was your
I-
favorite thing?
Just some of my clothes. I really connected with the kids that were juniors, and I was a senior.
Okay.
So my senior class, I was kind of, I don't know, just was not a part of the senior atmosphere too much. But I did have a great group of junior friends. I ran cross country. I played football as a freshman year, and long story short, I didn't make the football team as a sophomore. So they decided to run cross country, and next thing I'm running cross country, and lots of fun times there. And,
Is that why you became a coach?
Volleyball became a part of my life
Yeah.
then when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And then I played in a club up in NAU, and I really liked the sport. And
Okay.
matter of fact, this was kind of cool. I was nominated as I'm in the Arizona Interscholastic Hall of Fame.
Yes, you are.
Yes, as an AIA.
It's very exciting, but well deserved.
As an athletic director and official in this area, because the sport has been a lot of fun, and started the Fever Volleyball Club here in town, and so that was a lot of fun too. But
Absolutely.
volleyball's been a sport. But my love was always football. I always wanted to play football. It just wasn't big enough.
Oh, that's all right. Not many of us are. All right. So the next question is, if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Superpower? It probably would be to, I don't know, cure people. If I could figure out a way to cure,
Sure.
then you can pretty much help people as much as possible and
Absolutely.
fix it.
I
Fix
share
whatever
that.
Yeah.
That's
I'm going
amazing.
to cure your issues.
You've got the biggest heart. Okay,
Yeah,
so what is one thing you would tell your 10-year-old self now to help give them perspective?
My 10-year-old self. Well, that guy was not. He didn't wear the right clothes. He was in terrible shape.
Well, okay, well, now that you have perspective,
What would
you
I say to him? Just be patient, and things will all work out. Just gotta keep going down that road, and
Good advice.
not let the little things get into you. So.
Amen to that. Okay, who's been the most influential person in your life and how did they impact you?
Well, you have.
Oh. Thank you. I don't know if I'm the most influential person, but I'll take that.
How many
That's very
times did I
sweet.
call you for some extra help when I was in
Oh.
principal?
Well, that's sweet.
Oh, probably my dad, mom, of course. I think
course.
they were always pretty influential. My dad, and I got, when I got with the district, Pat Rooney was always someone who I
Yeah.
could always connect with.
Absolutely.
And after he got to know my name, a little funny story there was Pat was the assistant principal athletic director at the time, and so
Yeah.
he was doing the awards, and he asked me to be the assistant wrestling coach because they just needed a warm body. I had nothing. I did not know wrestling at all.
Sure.
So he comes up and he goes, "Come here." He goes, "What is your last name again?" As he's doing the awards assembly, I said, "It's Berger." And he goes, "Okay, got it." So he's introduced. I'd like to introduce the assistant wrestling coach, Robert Berger. So he didn't know my first name. So I was laughing, and we share that story off, and he's such a good guy.
Oh, that's so funny.
But we've developed he's been a real good mentor of mine.
Oh,
so.
that's so great. We need those, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Okay, so what was your favorite subject in school?
Probably art.
Ooh.
Yeah, I enjoyed art.
I am not surprised by that because you are an amazing, you do some pretty amazing things with wood. Okay, what was your worst?
Well, when you're art, you're very creative, and math is not going to be going down. Mr. Olson actually had to. He told me something was really. He's the math guru, by the way.
Larry Olson.
Yeah, he is. So he was my assistant coach, and I was like, man, I can never do math. What's the key there? He goes, you have to treat math like it's a foreign language.
Oh.
And once he told me that, it's like that makes sense. And
That's
so
good advice.
when I went to that's one thing that kind of helped me. As far as I think, if someone had told me that back in the day, I might have been okay with math.
Absolutely.
But I got to a certain level of math, and after when you start asking those questions, like if you're driving down the road at 100 miles an hour and you
got to apply all the back end of the math.
You throw a paper airplane out the window because you're in trouble from your mom, and it goes 5 miles an hour backwards. How is your tires inflated and what pressure? I don't know. It's like. Do I have to draw it? Do I have to draw all that stuff
up? Many of
up?
your students could relate. Yeah.
So
That's
that was
funny.
yeah.
Okay. What? So. Sorry.
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh, that's funny. What type of learner are you?
Definitely
Visual,
hit
auditory.
with the brick kind of learner.
So hands-on.
Yeah, definitely hands-on.
Okay.
I think I have to get in there. Like I don't know how many times Amy has shown me how to do something in PLP.
Well,
She's like, "Hey, you need to do
Practice
this."
makes perfect, don't we
How
tell her?
do I do that, Amy? And she goes, "Oh, Berger." Matter of fact, I coached Amy back in the day.
I
She
know,
was one
I
of my
remember.
players. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's pretty amazing.
You were.
Art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, so last couple.
All right.
When you were a kid,
Mhm.
what did you want to be when you grew up?
My first love of what I wanted to, a matter of fact, I still kind of wanted to do this as a career, was be a professional rodeo clown. So that's, I always
That's
did.
pretty amazing. You could actually still do that.
I don't know if I could at this point because I can barely.
Well, Delbert Days was last weekend.
I could get outfit
Maybe
out.
next year I'll
Give me
put in a good
Give
word
me
for
a
you.
barrel and some. I
Okay.
always wanted to do that. Be a professional. I always thought those guys were very good athletes.
You make people smile, so
Yeah, that
I'm
would
sure
be
you do a great
I
job.
don't know, the bulls would.
So then last one, what was your favorite book? Did you have a favorite book as a kid that always stands out to you?
I also wanted to read too much.
Okay.
So
Did anybody read a book to you even in high school that was?
No, but I did as I continued to get a little bit older and stuff like that. I did get into a lot of those really good coaching inspirational books,
Oh, yeah.
and I shared that a lot with my athletes moving
Okay.
up in the world. We did a lot of activities, coaching success. Was a lot of quotes from professional athletes that just to this day I still look at and I still pull that book out. And it's all broken up as I pull the
Yeah.
pages off it, and so it's absolutely really a nice resource for me to look at.
Sometimes you need perspective and inspiration, right?
Yep.
Well, you inspire me, and you make me laugh, and I love having you as a colleague. So
Thank
thank you
you.
for being here today.
No, thank
I'm
you
just
very
so happy
much.
to have you here,
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
and it's always fun.
It's always fun. We gotta laugh more often, right?
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you, Roger,
Thank you.
for being
Take
here
care.
again.
Yes.
Sorry. We want to take the time today to thank you and Shawn Lawless from 32 Bravo Media for helping make our Raising Scholars broadcast a reality. You can tune into this or any new episode at our Lake Havasu Unified School District website, on the communications page, on our LHUSD Facebook page or YouTube channel, or linked into our quarterly newsletters. Don't forget to tune in to our next episode. We can't wait to see you there, because at the end of the day, the most overwhelming key to a child's success is the positive involvement of their parents.